Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Yahud, your place for classic comic stories. Today's episode, Tintin and the Broken Ear, Chapter 6. Let's dive in. Outside, Ramon points down the steep hillside, shouting that the escapee is trying to reach the road, as Alonzo fires a shot into the stormy night. The rain-soaked ground makes pursuit treacherous, but they are determined to catch the fleeing figure. Tintin races along the winding path, the rain lashing against him as lightning illuminates his desperate sprint. The crack of thunder echoes around him, urging him to reach safety before his pursuers close in. Ramon and Alonzo, armed and determined, chase after Tintin through the storm, their voices barely audible over the roar of the rain. "He cannot be far away," Ramon shouts, trying to catch sight of their elusive target. Suddenly, Ramon is struck on the head by a thrown rock, tumbling forward as Alonzo halts in surprise, their pursuit abruptly interrupted. The rain continues to pour as Ramon struggles to regain his footing, his expression a mix of frustration and pain. Alonzo pauses, bewildered and drenched, scanning the surroundings for any sign of Tintin while questions race through his mind. The storm rages on, cloaking the path ahead in uncertainty as he grips his weapon tightly. Suddenly, a stone flies through the air, striking Alonzo squarely on the head, causing him to stagger backward. His grip on the weapon loosens as the unexpected attack leaves him dazed. Tintin, peering from a rocky outcrop, exclaims triumphantly about his perfect aim with the coconut. His face shines with a mix of satisfaction and determination as he watches Alonzo's disorientation. With swift precision, Tintin descends to the ground, where Alonzo and another adversary are now tied up with electrical wires. The storm continues to rage, but Tintin's resolve is evident as he secures the scene. Snowy dashes across the wet ground, determined and swift, as the storm's remnants linger around them. His small paws splash through puddles, his loyalty guiding him back to Tintin. Tintin breathes a sigh of relief upon seeing Snowy approach, his expression brightening as he greets his loyal companion. Meanwhile, Alonzo and the other captive shuffle along, bound and watched by Tintin's vigilant gaze. Arriving at the prison, Tintin confidently presents the tied-up duo to the surprised guard at the entrance. With a triumphant smile, he announces that he has brought in new prisoners, ensuring justice is served. In the heart of the bustling city, General Alcazar stands impatiently, glancing at his watch with a frustrated expression, muttering about the tardiness of an expected Tintin. His uniform shines brightly, contrasting with the dark clouds of annoyance gathering around him. Elsewhere, Tintin sprints down a narrow alleyway, his clothes torn and disheveled, urging Snowy to keep pace as he rushes to meet the impatient general. The urgency in his voice matches his rapid footsteps, determined to deliver his news. Back at the general's office, a sharp knock interrupts Alcazar's pacing, and he gruffly commands the visitor to enter. His stern demeanor softens slightly, curiosity piqued as he awaits the arrival of his guest. A masked man in a wide-brimmed hat lurks near a corner, clutching a coil of rope with a determined look. His eyes dart around, ensuring no one sees his furtive movements. He stealthily approaches a barrel labeled Dynam, his grip tightening around the rope. His intent is clear as he crouches, preparing to carry out his plan. Muttering to himself, he realizes he's missing a crucial element, saying, "That's it. All I need is a light." His focus is unwavering, eyes fixed on the task at hand. General Alcazar sits tensely at a grand table, concentrating on his chess game as he flicks his cigar butt out the window. His hand hovers over the board, eyes narrowing in thought as the smoke drifts away. Nearby, a mysterious figure in a large sombrero and dark cloak crouches by the wall, beads of sweat forming on his brow. The glowing cigar butt drops from above, landing squarely on his sombrero. His eyes widen under the mask as the faint smoke curls upward. The figure remains hidden, tense and perspiring, as he rummages for matches to light the dynamite. He doesn't notice the faint smoke curling from his sombrero, now smoldering from the fallen cigar butt. The figure froze, realizing he'd left his matches behind. Wisps of smoke curled from his sombrero, the singed brim unnoticed as he fumbled for a way to light the dynamite. He pauses, sniffing the air suspiciously, noting the unmistakable scent of something burning nearby. The realization dawns on him with a creeping dread, as the smoke begins to curl and thicken ominously. Abruptly, flames leap up his sombrero, licking dangerously close as the fuse continues its deadly path. Panic seizes him, and he recoils in terror, flailing to escape the impending disaster. Desperately, he races forward, his sombrero trailing flames as he runs for his life. His eyes are wide with fear, knowing that every second counts. Spotting a fountain ahead, he sprints faster, hoping to extinguish the fire. His heart pounds as he nears the water's edge, aware that salvation is just within reach. With a final leap, he plunges headfirst into the fountain, sending a cascade of water soaring into the air. The flames hiss and sizzle out, leaving him drenched but safe, his breath coming in ragged gasps. A frustrated man in a wetsuit clings to the edge of a fountain, expressing his annoyance at his repeated failures. Water drips off him as he acknowledges his setback with a resigned exclamation. Inside a richly decorated room, Tintin and General Alcazar are locked in a tense chess game. Tintin makes a strategic move, declaring check to the general's king, causing Alcazar to sweat under the pressure. General Alcazar, visibly flustered, mutters to himself, realizing he needs to focus on his next move. Tintin watches intently, the room filled with the quiet intensity of their game. Tintin, with a confident smile, declares checkmate, causing General Alcazar to recoil in disbelief as the pieces lay in a decisive arrangement. The general's eyes widen, a mix of shock and frustration evident as Tintin's victory sinks in. Exploding with anger, General Alcazar slams his fist onto the chessboard, sending pieces flying in every direction. His voice booms with indignation, questioning how Tintin dared to defeat him, his authority feeling affronted by the unexpected loss. In a dramatic turn, General Alcazar brandishes a pistol, firing wildly into the air as Tintin ducks behind the table for cover. The room echoes with the sound of gunfire, smoke swirling around the general's fierce expression, tension mounting with each shot. General Alcazar erupts into laughter as Tintin, shaken by the gunfire, tries to regain his composure while Snowy looks on with concern. The general's booming laughter fills the room, underlining the absurdity of the situation. With a mischievous grin, Alcazar explains his stunt as a harmless prank, claiming his gun is always loaded with blanks. Tintin, still catching his breath, listens with a mixture of disbelief and relief. The general reminisces about an aide who once bested him at chess, chuckling as he recalls drawing his gun in jest. His laughter echoes again, the cigar smoke curling around his amused expression, leaving Tintin to ponder the eccentricities of his host. In the dimly lit alley, a masked figure crouches, planting explosives with a grim determination, declaring an end to General Alcazar's tyranny with a fervent cry for liberty or death. The dynamite beside him is a silent testament to the lengths he's willing to go for his cause. Startled by an unexpected noise, the masked man bolts from the scene, his cloak fluttering wildly behind him as he races past the corner of the building. His heart pounds with a mix of adrenaline and fear, urging him to escape unseen. Elsewhere, General Alcazar continues to regale Tintin with tales of his past, his laughter booming as he recounts an incident involving a fainting aide and a gunshot. Tintin listens, bewildered yet intrigued, as Alcazar chuckles over the bizarre twist of the aide developing jaundice the next day. A statue of General Alivaro stands defiantly in a lush garden, its finger pointing as if issuing a command. A figure crouches suspiciously behind the pedestal, eyeing the surroundings with a sense of stealth. Nearby, a canister of dynamite rests ominously against a wall, its presence foreboding. The tension builds as the quiet setting seems ready to erupt. Suddenly, the silence is shattered by a thunderous explosion, flames and debris bursting forth in a dramatic display. The once tranquil scene is engulfed in chaos, the aftermath of the destructive force. A masked figure stands triumphantly by the headless statue of General Alivaro, declaring, "Justice is done," as the chaos of the explosion settles. The surrounding greenery sways wildly, reflecting the turmoil of the moment. Suddenly, the masked figure is caught off guard, stumbling back as debris rains down, knocking his mask askew. His expression twists in shock as he scrambles to regain his footing. In the nearby town, people rush through the streets in a frenzy, shouting about an attack and questioning if another revolution is underway. The air buzzes with urgency as they head towards the general's palace, seeking answers amidst the chaos. In front of the general's palace, a crowd gathers, their initial panic subsiding as an officer reassures them that General Alcazar is unharmed. Relieved murmurs ripple through the crowd, but the sense of unrest lingers. Meanwhile, inside a dimly lit room, a masked man berates another for a botched attempt with dynamite, his frustration evident as he explains the proper method. The injured man sits dejectedly, while another applies a bandage, their plans thwarted but far from abandoned. The next morning, Tintin, with Snowy at his side, receives a phone call at General Alcazar's palace, his face turning pale at the news. The doctor informs him of a new complication: the general has jaundice, amplifying the tension of the already precarious situation. The doctor explains over the phone that the general's jaundice is a result of shock, deepening Tintin's concern as he absorbs the troubling news. A portrait of General Alcazar hangs prominently in the background, reminding Tintin of the gravity of the situation. As Tintin sits at a desk, a rapid knocking interrupts his thoughts, his expression tense as he instinctively calls out for the visitor to enter. The urgency in his voice betrays the stress he feels, his mind racing with the doctor's words still ringing in his ears. A soldier enters, saluting with precision, as he hands Tintin a message, prompting Tintin to ask who sent it. The soldier's crisp uniform and formal demeanor contrast with Tintin's anxious anticipation, as he eagerly waits for an answer that could change everything. Tintin, dressed in a blue uniform with red cuffs, reads a message aloud, noting that R.W. Trickler from General American Oil is here. His decision to let the visitor in hints at the significance of the meeting, setting the stage for a potentially critical conversation. As Trickler enters the room, Tintin offers a polite greeting and gestures for him to sit. The formal setting is underscored by the presence of Snowy, who curiously watches the visitor with keen interest. Trickler begins to explain his purpose, hinting at urgent news he received, but is interrupted by a ringing phone. Tintin apologizes and reaches for the phone, while Trickler courteously agrees to pause his explanation. Tintin's expression shifts to shock as he learns from Captain that the prisoners have escaped. Tintin quickly relays this alarming development. Meanwhile, Ramon and Alonzo hide among the lush jungle foliage, whispering about their newfound freedom and their plans to reclaim a precious artifact. Their voices drip with vengeance as they vow to settle old scores with Tintin, fueling their determination. Back in the office, Tintin turns his attention back to Trickler, who resumes his explanation with a grave announcement about oil deposits discovered in the Gran Chapo region. The information hints at potential conflict, as the land straddles two neighboring territories, raising the stakes for both Tintin and Trickler. Trickler, with a persuasive tone, explains that General American Oil seeks a concession to exploit the oil fields and assures that the government will benefit from the profits. His words are carefully crafted to entice cooperation, but the weight of potential conflict looms over the conversation. Tintin, sitting in the imposing chair, acknowledges Trickler's proposal but expresses concern over General Alcazar's illness, implying his inability to make significant decisions. His response reveals the precarious balance of power and his own discomfort with the situation. Trickler insists that Tintin's involvement could be crucial, hinting at the potential need to seize Nuevo Rican territory to gain full control of the oil fields. Tintin, visibly alarmed, exclaims that such actions would lead to war, highlighting his inner turmoil at the prospect of escalating conflict. A man in a suit sits at a desk, making a dismissive gesture as he speaks to Tintin, suggesting that sacrifices are necessary for progress. His words seem to weigh heavily as the Tintin listens, contemplating the difficult decisions ahead. The man in the suit reveals his true intentions, offering a substantial sum of money to persuade Tintin to join his campaign. Tintin, taken aback, realizes the gravity of the situation as he considers the implications of this offer. Rejecting the offer, the colonel stands firm, leading the man to exit with a warning about the mistake he's making. The door closes behind him, leaving the colonel to grapple with the weight of his decision and the potential consequences. The man strides with urgency towards a waiting car, carrying a sense of determination as the chauffeur holds the door open. The car's engine hums, ready to whisk him away as he contemplates his next move. Inside the car, he settles into the plush seat, gripping his cane tightly and muttering about a dangerous fellow who could ruin their plans. His mind races as he decides to consult Rodriguez about this threat, his expression tense and resolved. In a richly furnished room, another man nods as he reads, agreeing to offer $10,000 to deal with the issue. Rodriguez stands nearby, eager and persuasive, ready to ensure the money is put to effective use. In a dimly lit room, Rodriguez in a suit negotiates with Pablo, offering $5,000 for an accident involving Colonel Tintin. Pablo agrees, promising that the plan will be executed that very night. Meanwhile, Alonzo stands beside Ramon, who is practicing his aim with a knife, striking a target with precision. Alonzo praises Ramon's skill, ensuring him that with such accuracy, Tintin will soon be nothing more than a bad memory. Under the cover of darkness, Tintin patrols with Snowy trotting beside him, while Ramon watches from the bushes, ready to strike. The night is alive with the rustle of leaves as Ramon prepares for his imminent task. Tintin stumbles back in shock, narrowly avoiding the knife that whizzes past him, while Snowy barks alarmingly at the sudden threat. The unexpected attack leaves both Tintin and Snowy on high alert, their senses heightened by danger. The knife continues its flight, slicing through the air between towering palm trees, its gleaming blade a silent menace. The jungle's dense foliage provides an eerie backdrop as the weapon disappears from sight. Ramon emerges from the shadows, frustration etched on his face as he realizes his attempt has failed. His muttered curse echoes his determination as he swiftly retreats, contemplating his next move. A knife glints amidst the foliage, lodged precariously above a cluster of bananas, hinting at a hidden threat. Nearby, a man with a thick mustache, hiding among the leaves and gripping a revolver, prepares to take action, his eyes narrowing with fierce intent. The man fires his revolver just as a cascade of bananas thuds onto his head, blocking his view. Smoke curls from the barrel while the jungle holds its breath in the heavy stillness. Tintin, clad in a striking blue uniform and accompanied by Snowy, jolts at the crack of gunfire. A bullet zips past his face, close enough to stir his hair, and he raises his pistol, eyes scanning the dense jungle for the threat ahead. Ramon yelped as the bullet found its mark in his backside, sending him staggering with stars bursting in his vision. The cry snapped Tintin's attention to him, and he pushed forward through the jungle, pistol at the ready to find the shooter. Tintin moves stealthily, his eyes scanning the dense foliage for any hint of danger, his posture tense with anticipation. The jungle seems to close in around him, its shadows deepening as he presses forward, guided by the sounds echoing through the trees. Suddenly, Tintin comes upon a man crouched amidst the underbrush, holding his head as stars circle around him, clearly dazed. Tintin approaches with caution, his presence a mixture of authority and concern, ready to offer assistance and uncover what led to this unexpected encounter. Before Tintin can say more, a man on the ground pleads desperately for mercy from a stern military figure, promising to reveal everything. His voice trembles as Snowy watches intently, sensing the gravity of the situation. In a sudden shift, Ramon stumbles into a room holding his head, clearly in distress as Alonzo rushes towards him, shocked at his disheveled state. Concern etches his face as he inquires about Ramon's well-being. The tension mounts as Ramon, clutching his head, cries out dramatically about his plight, leaving Alonzo urging him to explain. Thanks for watching Comic Yahud. Like, subscribe, and catch you in the next chapter.